So there was a belief that I had naturally when I was little that, like many people, got kind of lost along the way. Then I had experiences with chronic illness and chronic pain, and it came back full force. And that belief was, this world is magic. Even though I firmly know this to be true now, I don't feel it 100% of the time. And that's okay. But I've honed the ability to see, feel, and understand when magic is seeping in. And I want to share that understanding with you. I'm Asia Suhler of One Willow Apothecaries, and this is my guide to recognizing the unmistakable magic in your life. So we all have these numinous moments in our lives, moments where everything seems to fall into place and the shimmering backdrop of reality comes into focus. The problem with these numinous moments is they come and then they go. But that's actually the definition of a revelation, right? By definition, revelation means to reveal. So we actually know that we're having a numinous, mystical, or religious experience when it comes. We experience it fully, and then it's veiled again. This is just the nature of how things work here. We're most likely never going to live in 100% feelings of magic and connection all the time. That said, what we can do is develop the tools to understand when that moment of magic is happening, so we can really sink into it and absorb the gifts that are being given in that moment. We can develop the awareness to really see when the world is reaching out to you in the space of magic and divinity and revelation, because the truth is, this world is reaching out to you all the time. So the first tip is to track shifts in physical reality. Now, magic, as I would define it, is really just this concept of seeing the fact that consciousness is at play in the world. So magic is really anything that happens outside the bounds of what we normally expect, outside of the bounds of our typical physical experience. In my belief, this whole world is created by consciousness. You could also say it's created by energy. So magic to me is consciousness at play, and we can feel that moment of play. And so one of the things we can recognize when we're experiencing a moment of magic is that it seems as if physical reality is shifting a bit around us. And this is actually pretty accurate, because in this way of thinking of magic as consciousness, consciousness exists outside of space and time. So it would make a lot of sense that when we experience magic, both space and time start to move a little bit. So the first thing within this is to notice what actually is happening to time as you're in this moment. Oftentimes, people describe these moments of magic as slowing down, as if the present becomes everything. The past and the future seem to fade away. And I'm sure you've had one of those moments where it was as if everything else dropped away and the present was so rich and so full. You were just there completely. And when you're there completely, it's like time slows down to this beautiful, long, elongated moment. Now, part of being in magic is also being in our heart space. And one of the things that we know about being in our heart, really dropping the energy down here versus being in our brain, is that our heart is always in the present moment. Our brain is the computer that's taking stock of the past, comparing it to what we desire in the future. But our heart, and most of our body for that matter, is really just grounded in the present. So when we're experiencing magic, we're often opening the portal of our hearts to really be in that present moment. Now, if we look at a lot of old mythology, we're going to see this play with time. For example, in a lot of the old Celtic stories, when someone goes into the fairy realm, they might be there for just a night dancing, but then they come back to this world, and it's been several years. So this is just an example of this idea that magic will play with time. So if you find your sense of time shifting and changing around you, ask yourself, am I experiencing magic here? I've also found that when you experience a magical moment for a longer period of time, maybe you're on a trip somewhere and you're having a wonderful time, time will start to work a little differently then. It might actually speed up. So normally, you're at your 9 to 5 job and time seems pretty slow. But when you're at this vacation, right, when you're having this wonderful experience, it might actually speed up. It speeds up, and yet the moment is so rich. So again, anytime time begins to play a little bit differently with you, ask yourself, what's the magic here? Oftentimes, increased awareness is just a sign unto itself. If something is really catching your attention and you feel your awareness come on board, sink into it. Oftentimes, we have this impetus to want to bring the critical mind on board, start examining it, start freaking out, right? Like, oh my gosh, is this magic? That's normal. But if you can just sink into the awareness for a moment and really let go of the thinking, you will actually expand this moment of experiencing. So you will find when you sink into this awareness that your body has certain signals that let you know that you're experiencing a magical moment. So I'll share with you my signals, but I really encourage you next time you're in a moment like this, become aware of your body and just see what's happening there. So for me, my heart often feels lighter, almost fluttery. Sometimes I even get a melting feeling around my heart. But one thing's for sure, there's often a lot of sensation going on here, and it often feels incredibly good. My limbs oftentimes will feel a lot lighter as well, almost as if I've lost a few pounds and could float up to the sky. Sometimes I even get a little bit of tingly feeling in my limbs. Now, this is subtle, right? And if I wasn't dropped into my awareness, I might not even notice some of these things. But when I do drop in, it's amazing to see how these subtle shifts are always indicative that I'm experiencing magic. There's also a sense of spaciousness often in my mind, almost as if there's a little bit of a pause button on my thoughts, and as if I can look out over a large mesa, almost like I'm in the desert and sort of the dross has been cleared away, and I'm having this moment of perhaps seeing more clearly than I have, and literally seeing clearly. Actually, the outlines of the world might be more defined. I often find in moments of magic that there is this feeling of clearing in my actual mind space, in my thoughts, and it's such a good feeling, especially for someone like myself who tends to be an overthinker. When I catch one of those moments, I say to myself, Asia, just enjoy this. Now, you might also get really specific messages as well inside of your body. So for me, one of the things that I get are twitches. I call them truth twitches. Literally, I'll have a part of my body twitch. And that's like an immediate sign to say, Asia, pay attention. Something cool is happening here. You could also get numbness, aches. Sometimes I've even had old feelings of, injuries or, body or muscle aches return just for a moment, just for a twinge to tell me, okay, pay attention here. And oftentimes if it's related to something I've experienced in the past, I know that this moment of revelation is tied into what it was that I was experiencing at that time and giving me more information about where I'm at now and what I'm really coming to the other side of. And the last thing here is to really notice your feelings. We're so trained to gloss over our feelings or to feel them, but then put them away because we don't have the full availability right now to feel them completely. But your feelings are your utmost guide in letting you know what's happening right now and what it means for you. So really connect into how you're feeling in this moment. Some of the feelings might be awe, gratitude, appreciation, and joy. I often call these breakthrough feelings because oftentimes you won't have been feeling them previously. It wasn't like you were just in a state of blissful joy that whole day and then you just had more joy. Maybe that's possible, but oftentimes these are breakthrough feelings because it's almost like you're feeling them out of nowhere. Like time slows down and all of a sudden you're feeling this sense of awe, love, appreciation, gratitude. All of these emotions will bring a sense of curiosity. And some of these emotions might bring up tears for you, right? Just because we're in a state of awe doesn't mean it might not bring up other stuff for us. And oftentimes these moments of magic can also be incredibly cathartic. But one thing's for sure, these moments almost always bring about a state of wonder. Now, wonder is the recognition of mystery in the world. is the recognition that there is more than what we've previously seen or understood. So wonder is a direct gateway into recognizing magic. Your intuition is the gateway through which you make these connections and really cultivate these experiences of magic. Now, many of us are really interested in cultivating our intuition because we want more of these experiences in our life. And the good news is that you are surrounded by messengers and teachers who are here to help you open that gateway of your own inner knowing. So if you're interested in making a connection with these specific gatekeepers of the natural world, I invite you to come join me for Opening Earth Intuition. Opening Earth Intuition is a yearly class that takes place in April that's entirely free that will help guide you in opening up an earth-based form of intuition through making connections with the plants and really opening that possibility for experiencing more and more and more moments of numinous magic and revelation. So if you're interested in this entirely free course, you can check out the link for that below, and I'll see you there.